We feel really good about the next one. Okay, so, thanks for us.
We are live.
We really should be confusing on forward and it's only starts. So
It's perfectly functional.
significance.
We'll go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining tonight. This is our Q2 town hall for Easton Park Master Community. Tonight I'm gonna make a couple of introductions and then we're gonna give an update on the community life. And then we've got quite a bit of stuff that we're gonna go over with engagement and then some development updates. And then we're gonna get to some Q&A. If we've got time through this, we'll take some questions from the floor and online if we've got time. If not, if there's any questions that are left, reach out to me for your questions and we'll definitely get those answered for you. So with us tonight, we have AJ Zorn with Brookfield. He is the Director of Land. We have Brad Shelton, who is the Division President. And we have Matt Chase, who is the VP of Community Association, who is also your board president. Your board of directors actually just recently changed, so I just want to let everybody know you do have Matt Chase as your president. AJ Zorn is your vice president. We have Allison Grotzinger, who is the secretary, and Armando Rueda, who is the treasurer. So as far as community life update, the main thing that I wanted to talk about is we get a lot of questions about the pool. It's pool season. We gave an update regarding the umbrellas at last town hall. We ordered a number of umbrellas and we have 3 left. The weather has taken them from the wind, the bad storms that we have taken. We have actually been in our office and watched this little bit of the whirlwind come through, pick up an umbrella and just take it off. So wanted to just kind of give an update. We are looking at some options. We're going to get some more umbrellas in there. We're looking at more of a permanent solution of what we're going to be able to do out there. Because as you can tell, we purchased a number of umbrellas thinking we were going to be good. They got in right before pool season and we're now down to 3. Unfortunately, what we need out here with the pools and the size that we are looking for, we're looking at about a 4 to 6 week delay on being able to get some out here. So we're working, just wanted to let you know, that was kind of what unfortunately has happened. But also with the pool, I know that we got a lot of questions about how often is the pool being cleaned. It is being cleaned 5 days a week. With that, and the way that our pool is set up is our chemicals are actually monitored through our third-party pool contractor. And so if there's ever a dip or anything, they actually get an alert. They come out here and it can be outside of those 5 days of the cleaning. The other thing is we're also getting some calls about by Sunday afternoon, the pool is kind of starting to look a little murky. And that is just going back to the bather load. We understand there is a high volume at the pool. We have a lot of people there, but it's kind of the same thing we had previously talked about is just being mindful of the sunscreen, the lotion we're putting on our body, the detergent. Make sure we're washing our bathing suits in between our visits. If we're going to the lake, make sure we're washing them as well. Because everything that's coming off of our body is going on top of that water and then is sticking to the tile. So that's one thing that you guys can help with the murkiness. The chemicals, again, it is exactly where we need to be. Some of the other things that I also want to talk about is just being mindful of actually what we're using the pool for. We're getting a lot of reports that people are playing on the ADA lift chairs. We've already had to have those repaired twice this year, just in 6 months. They're expensive. And I just want to make sure that if we're seeing people that are on there, that whether they're playing on, if we're not using them properly, please report that to me so I can definitely address that, because I want to make sure that we're not running through any of those issues. So after that announcement, I'm actually going to hand it over to Paul, we have a lot of updates with our engagement team of what has been going on and what is coming or what you guys can expect. You ready?
Awesome. So, if you don't know me, my name is Paul. I'm the Director of Community Engagement. And there are some highlights that I would like to go over. Before we go over events, I just want to provide y'all some of the things that I do to support your community. So, I work with all of the community clubs to help them grow and create events that they can facilitate on their own. Another thing that I lead are all of our signature events and all of our community-wide programs. So when we have music in the park, I partner with two residents to help procure those artists, and I help facilitate those events. But then I also, in partnership with my entire team, we lead all of our signature events. And there is one coming in August that I will get to share a little bit of a teaser about. But those are the things that I do to help support the community. So when we talk about events, we have a list of these that are going all the way till August. So just to share a few details on the upcoming events, we have the Happy Hour, which is going to be at our dog park. And I have a partnership with Paws on Chacon. So they give full-size dog treat bags to all of the dogs. And then we also have a partnership with Austin Canine Academy, and they are going to do a raffle. They have a $500 training grant towards their program. In addition to that, it is dog centric, but we will also have alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages for all of the dog owners. So that is June 23rd at the dog park. For June 28th, that is next Wednesday, we have Austin Wildlife Rescue. So as we're in the middle of the summer, we know that when you are on trails or in your backyard, there may be some wildlife that presents itself. So this program is really to enable you on how to protect you and your family and pups on the trail, but then also how to protect wildlife that is native to our community. July 1st, this is our first annual Star Spangled Cookout. I like to highlight Mike Yeager, who is part of the BFW 8925 post. And we are partnering with him in a way that we've never done before. So we are going to have Tiffany be in our dunk tank, and all of the proceeds will go to Mike Yeager's Veterans Foreign Wars post. And on top of that, we will have face painters, balloon artists, and then we will also have School of Rock, which is a band ensemble in South Park Meadows. And a lot of our kiddos will be performing in that band. So they're opening up for Mike Donatello in the Essentials. They are a wonderful cover band that we're excited to bring to the July 1st event. One thing that I would like to emphasize is please RSVP for this event. We won't have any catering or food trucks. Our facility team is going to be grilling the entire morning for y'all. So we'll have hot dogs and hamburgers. So the only thing that y'all need to pay for is the dunk tank, but we're really excited to bring all of that to you for July 1st. So coming after that, July 7th, we have our reoccurring First Friday food truck. So if you're new to the community, every first Friday, we have a food truck that comes out to the side of the Union from 6 to 8. So that gives you excuse to not cook for the night. But this time we have Night Fire Barbecue coming out for Friday. July 14th, we have Movies in the East, which is a Shark Week edition. Nick Young is sponsoring some of the floats and glow sticks for that night, but we will have shark themed food and beverages. And that will be in the pool. So we will have the blow screen on the turf area so that way everyone can stay in the pool and enjoy the event. For July 21st, we have a recurring farmers market that happens on the third Friday of the month. That is something that we've had standing for over half a year now. The reason why I emphasize this is because there are some residents who are entrepreneurs and would like to sell in these markets. And we would welcome that. So one of the vendors that we have grows his own vegetables in his backyard here and sells them. So if you have any boutique clothing, any produce, any candle making, any of that, I would love to connect with you and introduce you to Nathaniel, who is the coordinator for the farmers markets. So August 26th, we have a really exciting news to announce is for the past couple of years, we've been asked, is Parkapalooza coming back? And this year we are doing an event similar and very much alike to Parkapalooza. So we will have several bands here. The event that we've known to grow and love will come back in a different form this year. So we are really excited for August 26th. So you'll get more details in the upcoming weeks, but I just wanted to give you all a small teaser and some excitement to bring back an iconic signature event to Easton Park. And to end a list of events, we have August 30th. So this is Explorers Day. Explorers Day is for both new and old neighbors who have been here. And this is a chance to get to know our community life team and all of your community clubs and partners. So you will be introduced to Optimize Daily, who is our health and wellness provider, some of our sports partnerships, and then all of our clubs that ranges from the beer club, the bookworms, and all of the clubs that help craft club and the cooking club. So there are a lot of people and residents to meet and mingle with. And every single Explorers Day will have a couple of raffles. So and then we also have tacos by Esmeralda. So it is a fun event to get to know your team, but then also your neighbors. And a reoccurring event that happens on the 2nd and 4th of the month is the Pack Walk with Easton Canine Academy. So it is a leash program that goes from Bryant Park all the way to Nob Hill and then comes back. And that is a training program that is free to any resident. So for our highlights that our event highlights that happened in April, we had our reoccurring Easter extravaganza. So we brought it inside and we had several activations or games that kids could win eggs. We had face meeting, and then we also had a photographer that provided a link to all the photography for families that attended that event. For our spring clean, we had an adult mingling party, and this was hosted by a resident, Erica Vargas. And so that was an adult night that we love to bring back again. And the last few pictures on this is some of the photos from Explorers Day. So we have Easton Canine Academy in the left bottom photo. In the middle, we have Angie and Chris educating our residents on some of the guidelines on compliance. And then on the right photo, we have Jennifer, who is a zero waste block leader with the city of Austin, and she is also the lead for the Recycling and Sustainability Club here. So if that is one of your affinities, please reach out to Jennifer, and she'd be happy to allow you into the group and help grow those events. For May, this was a really exciting month in terms of diversity and culture. So we partnered with the resident of Lisa Warren, and we acknowledged Asian American Pacific Islander Month. So this was a time to celebrate our diversity and inclusion here at Easton Park. So we had a karate demonstration by EP Sports Academy, and then we also had a hula show by Hula Kepaya. And then all of the residents also created their own dishes that are celebrated in their culture. For Mother's Day, we partnered with Sherry Smith, and she treated 25 moms, grandmas, and aunts to a mani or pedi. And then we also had a brunch for all the moms here. So we always give a round of applause to all the moms here at Easton Park. And then to end the summer off, we had a end of school year party, and that was partnering with the PTA to have a end of school year party. For June, we celebrated Pride Month. This was most of the event was done by our Pride Club. So we had a drag queen show come out. We did also do storytelling to kids. And then we also had the men's chorus of Austin attend and give us a great musical performance. And a part of that is partnering with the Pride group to celebrate all of the Easton Park kids. And then for our June Music in Park, we had our first Latin musician, Ray Ortega, and his band come out, and the dance floor was full with cumbia, salsa dancing, and all the things that you could ever mention in a Music in the Park performance. So again, I just wanted to highlight that we have our Star Spangled Cookout coming on July 1st. Please, if you haven't seen the newsletter, please RSVP on that way, so that way we know we have enough food for everyone that attends. And then also be on the lookout for more teasers on the Park of Palooza event coming on August 26th.
And yes, I did volunteer to get in the duck booth, so please come out, throw a couple balls. I'm all about it. Okay, so up next, we are at the development update. And I think AJ is going to lead us through this. So we've got Skyline Park up first.
All right, since we're in the event announcing, Discovery Park Block Party, July 15th, so that's coming soon, gotta plug that one. All right, put that on your calendar. Even if you don't live in Discovery Park, put it on your calendar. All right, Skyline Park, so as you probably noticed, you've been driving around, you've seen there's a lot of stuff happening there, so it's so exciting. We wish we could just show you everything. You go up there, don't go up there. Please don't go up there. Right now, it's an active construction site. Don't go up on Skyline Park. For your own safety, for everybody's safety, don't. But let me tell you, there's a lot of cool stuff coming. Right now, it's somewhat boring dirt work that's going on. When we give the next town hall, we'll have some kind of development pictures. Things actually going vertical in the air to be able to see. But speaking of that, in that lower right picture that you see there, that is the that is part of this awesome playground structure being fabricated into place where I can't remember what city these guys are located in, but it's in a faraway municipal land. They built playgrounds that look awesome. So that's a picture there, but seriously, like the structure that's going to be on Skyline Park is going to be something phenomenal. It's the main lookout for all the children, like 2 or 3 stories in the air. We're talking about something cool where they will be able to look out and see everything as far as their eyes can see in all directions. So pretty incredible stuff coming there. Up in the upper right, that's a rendering of a splash pad that's coming as well. So a lot of this stuff has been out on social media and different places here and there. Like I said, next quarter, we'll be able to actually show you like under construction, the pavilion, the splash pad, and all the playgrounds, things like that. But we've been really excited about this. I know I've been waiting for it for a while and stuff, so we are really excited that this is moving full speed ahead. There's a question of like, when is this going to be finished? So tightly, everything's going to be scheduled to finish before the end of the year. However, there's no slack or rain or other things that happen. And while most of the things that I do are moving dirt around or concrete, this is a lot of vertical elements and stuff, so there's still a lot of unknowns out there. So while we're getting to the end before the end of the year, let's give a little grace and realize that we might not be open until early next year. Also realize we're going to have this big opening for this grand park. It might be slightly cold outside. Maybe you're not bringing your kids out for the splash pad in January, but we will give this the opening that it deserves. But we're not going to hold for weather. We're going to get this done as soon as we can. And like I said, we'll have a grand opening. It makes the most sense for us all to come out there and celebrate that as a community. So that's kind of the timeline we're looking at right now.
Next is Prospect Park.
Prospect Park. So we actually technically kicked that off this morning, 8 a.m. Starting the construction on the Signature Park. What you've seen out there now, if you're drawn by Prospect, is we're doing all the landscaping on the right of way. That's going to go all over down the main boulevard and stuff. That's the trees that you see popping up lately. But we just started this in the landscaping on that large Signature Park. So if you drive into Prospect on Oswald and you see that billboard that's sitting there and saying, this is the future, that whole huge lot that's there is going to be the Signature Park of Prospect. And what you see in these 2 renderings are views of that. Kind of from on the lower right, that's the perspective looking from the north to the south. And what you're going to see is if you go out there physically, you'll notice that it kind of falls downhill. We're going to use that to our advantage. So what you're going to see at the top of it is a public art that we are looking to nominate, or rather, we've got the nominees choose our artists. They're going to be pitching this here shortly on who's going to be selected there. We're going to have a public art that kind of sits at the top of this park right there on Osprey. And then as the park goes downhill, you kind of see a multi-level kind of deck where you have some observation and some slides that goes down to the lower areas. And it's going to meet back and forth across that natural drainage area all the way down in, with another little play area on the northern end. So the large park, I mean, we're sitting here talking about Skyline Park, this large 22-acre park, but not too far down the road, we got another park that's showing up with other play features, other places for respite for everyone that's there, and just a great overall kind of common space for Prospect Park. Now, same.
Island Park.
All right, in Highland Park, same kind of timeline, starting here in the next couple of weeks, going towards roughly November. And what you'll see here, common theme there, also change in topography right where this park sits. So you're going to have a high side and a low side. And again, we're using that kind of to our advantage. So you'll see that in that lower right picture right there, where you kind of have this upper edge and it naturally goes down the hill. We have a slide and a few other things kind of coming off of it. The theme of it is, of course, pilot park. So there's going to be some different aerial things in it. And also public art being activated in that area as well. So a couple of play features, a couple of places that sit under some trees, and like I said, a small little lawn that's accented by public art. So that's another one that's starting off in the next couple of weeks. That'll run roughly through November.
We have Haley Park and Balboa Park.
All right, so we snipped this so that we're not showing you everything that I've ever planned in the world. So I'm only going to give you a hot little picture of it. What you'll see right here is two areas that should be common to you. Kiki Park is sitting there on the kind of left side of it. And then Prospect Park is the area that is getting finalized right now, that's southern half of Prospect Park. So Haley Park is the area that's in purple and blue, just to the south of Kiki. The only thing that we're committed to right now is the purple area. That is another extension of our urban home project. So that's the same kind of thing that's at Union Park East, same kind of thing that's at Union Village. And as far as timeline goes, we're going to sell the Union Village. So we're going to kind of let the sales base and things kind of dictate when that next thing comes up, because it's going to roll out and it makes sense for us to start selling more of those urban homes. So, same.
The Slaughter Lane, Saxon Road.
No, it's, so Slaughter Lane, if you're on Slaughter Lane that exists today, you know, it just dead ends into Baxter Road. And we are going to continue Slaughter Lane all the way to 183. So we're going to continue that, and that's the picture that you see there on the bottom here. It does not exist yet. It will exist.
I just wonder how close
Saxon is,
gonna be.
Saxon, I won't give you the wrong, but Saxon to a little bit south.
They're gonna be pretty close together.
Yes, sir. Yes. Yep. And so,
All right, so it'd be a light there by chance, some form of traffic light, if that's T, you're talking about the T, correct?
and
On
we
Slaughter.
intersection.
At Slaughter right there where it ends right there.
Yes, when Slaughter stacks, when that opens up, we're gonna build that intersection with signal lights there.
Signal lights, okay.
Yep. And that was, we're kind of partnering with Travis County. That's actually their, kind of their problem that we're helping them solve, right? So we're sitting there willing partners with Travis County, and once they do their piece, then we'll do our piece to then signalize that. Yep. And then, so the only part of the Haley Park is the condo section, and like I said, those urban homes will come online as soon as it makes sense. Once we sell all the other homes that we have in Union Village, then we move on down to that area. And then, as far as Balboa Park, that's all the area that is south of Prospect Park and north of Slaughter. Right now, the only part that we are 100% going to do is that large section of our quad project, which is currently sold by New Market Base Center, those larger quad lots. And that's something that we are starting construction within the next couple weeks, maybe at the end of the year. So that's one of the sections of Balboa. The rest of it right now, we have different ideas and different products that might go there, but that's, again, we're going to let the market kind of lead us of exactly what's going in. So it's kind of that mix of product of some sort of condo, maybe some multi-family, different things there that are going to kind of be that buffer between Kiki Park and Slaughter Lane. That comes to mind.
So now we're going to get into some of the questions. And real quick, I just wanted to address something with this. So we get a lot of questions and some of these are duplicates. So if you don't hear your question worded maybe the way that you submitted it, it's still probably in here. And if it is not, then you'll actually get an email from me with the information. Also, we get a lot of questions pertaining to Union Park West. And I removed those out of these and I will email you directly for that because again, this is Easton Park Master Town Hall. And anything that has to do with Union Park West inside of it doesn't have anything to do with Brookfield because that was actually developed by Meritage. So again, just wanted to kind of clarify if you submitted questions in regards to Union Park West, you're not going to see them tonight. So the first question that we have is what is the estimated timeline for Union Park West Park?
I was just about to say, that's me, I don't even, that's the first question. Yeah, right now, look, I'm an honest broker, and whenever it's our timeline change, we'll say it's Brookfield thing, and whenever it's the county that's, or the city that's doing it, we'll be honest here. We are on our fourth round of review. The third round took 137 days. We're now on fourth. It's sitting at 45 days. We hope to get this one back next week, we've been told, and we know we're gonna do another round. So we are waiting for this permit. Brookfield committed to building this park. We want to build this park. It's going to be a fantastic park. We're going to build it as soon as we are allowed. So I know that's not a great answer, but that's the reality. As soon as we are legally allowed to do this, we're going to put a shovel in the ground and build this.
Can you provide a timeline and update on the next amenity center?
So, I mean, again, a lot of these are repeat questions. The second mini center is going to be located on the south side of Easton Park, south of Slaughter Lane. And we're going to start construction on it around the first houses that are getting constructed. Residents start moving there. We are not going to activate this amenity center on the south side until we have the mass that's starting to grow down there to support that. So not going to give you an exact timeline on this. If you haven't noticed, Prospect Park has nearly 800 lots. Just open that, we need to build those houses, we need to sell those houses. So the timeline is in the future, can't give an exact on that, but as we work our way south throughout the development, whenever we start going under construction on all the houses, south of Slaughter Lane is the same time that we're going to be starting.
Are there any plans or consideration for a lazy river?
Yeah, I like this river. It's great. South Amenity Center, we do, initial visioning, imagine some kind of water feature focus. We know there's going to be a pool, there's going to be water, and it might be a really grand display of water. We don't know the exact details, so I'm not going to say this is lazy river. It's been thrown out there, except we're on very early sides of visioning this thing out. So it will meet all of your water and hole needs. If it's a lazy river, still will be perfect. That's the things that we're going to look at and see if that makes the most sense, but there'll be something, it'll be water, it'll be cool. So we'll see what kind of comes out of it.
Can you provide an update for the next amenities, including types of sports courts?
Right. So as far as the update on the next amenities, we've gone over Skyline Park, Prospect Park, on Highland Park, gone over Timeline and South amenities. Those are our next amenities. The only other amenity that we have that's somewhere in the pipeline in the next few years is the permanent dog park that we talked about, but I don't have a timeline to discuss tonight. But that's the last large amenity that is on the north side of Slaughter. So like I said, we talked about Skyline and Prospect and Highline. Those are all and Union Park West. So we talked about 4 big parks. Those are all in the pipeline and coming out soon. And then kind of give you an overview of the South Amenity Center as well. There will be some kind of sport element to the South Amenity as well. Details on that, again, a little bit too early in this process to start getting that down to promise anything, but we'll have that element in some shape. We do have a public as well, so that I can install it back in the con. And then on the west side of that, will be your call support of that. Yeah,
What's going to be at Union Park Boston Park?
Yeah, there's a play structure, there is a basketball court, and there's a pickleball field.
Are the sports courts open to the public or?
All of our parks are open to the public because we don't have any badging system. The only thing that is technically locked into residents is this building right here, which is swiping in. So all the rest of our parks, And that's not only by design on Brookfield Park, that's also a rule, through the city. There's certain parkland dedications that we make our parks open and run. That's a requirement for developing out here.
Can you provide an update on the idea property?
Okay, I've been doing, so I talked with the CEO about his school. It's Wednesday, so it'll be Monday of this week, no, excuse me, Friday. So still working with them, have another call set up a couple of days from now. So we're working very closely with them. They have said, and we talked about in this meeting, you know, they're not moving forward with that school. We're working with them to identify what is the right use for that piece of property, how do we work together to attract them. We're not yet at a place where we've got that all out, but it is a very active conversation. We're working with them on a weekly basis. So we're hopeful that by the time we're together next time, all 9 days now, we can provide them with a concrete information. But we're still working through this.
Is that area supposed to be commercial or residential? Is there any code that
It
is?
will be residential, then commercial of some sort.
What is the timeline for the commercial development near CVS?
I talked to the developer there, so I'm reporting stuff that I've heard from them. We have a great relationship with them. It's not a Brookfield project. So I'm gonna put that asterisk next to you. That this is what the developers are working there. So they had a supply chain issue with some of the underground stuff that they've since resolved. So they think in the next 60 to 90 days, they'll be done with the horizontal construction that you kind of see ongoing now. There was stuff falls over the last month. There's some stuff that's come in. Now they're going to get done in the next, like I said, 60 to 90 days. At that point, there's one retail building that they are actually building it. So they're going to start on that. And then all the other buyers, that's McDonald's, that's AutoZone, the other ones that have the individual pads there, they'll be released to them. Their vertical schedules, we don't have really insight on now, except for those, the companies they contracted with, they build when they're ready to build, and they wouldn't have signed up if they're not ready there. So Better's money is on, once it gets released to them, you'll see stuff out there going vertical. So in theory, they're opening sometime early-ish next year. But, you know, don't only do that. But like I said, the sites will be turned over for vertical construction probably in the next 60 to 90 days. And then, I don't know, as fast as you can build a McDonald's. McDonald's. And to them, I mean, time is money, and they've already put their money into this. So I think they're all going to be pushing their construction along to get those things open to all of y'all. And then that developer that's doing the horizontal is also doing the vertical on the larger retail kind of strip area of the parcel. And they said they're going as fast as they can. And again, they're looking to turn that over to tenants sometime early next year. And then of course the tenants need a couple months to move it in and make it their own stuff. So I think by mid next year, you'll see the entire site activated more or less. But that's kind of the plan I'm looking at now.
Are there any changes to what will be in the commercial development near CVS?
All right. We'll see. We listed all the names, of all the people that are gonna be there. We did that once, and we've already kind of had to back off of the coffee suppliers, because even though they got so far down the road, had signed contracts and put money in it, coffee chain we got. They're still gonna get a coffee supplier of some sort, we don't know what, but that's what I'm saying, like, man, there's a big old asterisk on this, like, people put in money, people are committed, everybody's going along, but you're not gonna see anything that's 100% sure until you see those golden arches actually lit up in burgers on the grill kind of thing. So the lineup that we provided previously is still what we're going for. It's AutoZone, McDonald's, a car wash, dental, pet supply, mod pizza, and a coffee shop. Those are all things that are still slated to come as far as we know that into town.
Is there an update on the commercial development located at Williamsina and 183? And what stores or businesses will be there?
All right, so that development, we own a chunk of land that's north of William Canyon. There's Knob Creek, or Knob Creek. That's just the one we remember. Oh, yeah, that's right. Knob Hill. And then as you move east, we don't own the land that's north of William Canyon. That's another land. However, once you get close to 183, then we do own a chunk that's there. Of that chunk, there's 5 lots. One of them is pegged for a multifamily. And then one of them, we've closed with the daycare, but we're not ready to share all the details of that until they're further along in their permitting process to know that They are who they are, and that's actually coming. So right now, technically in the daycare, there's 3 other lots that are out there. Their uses are still, undetermined at this point.
Are there plans to add a 3-way stop sign at Colton Bluff and Union Park Lane?
I mean, that would be based on there being so much traffic on Union Park Lane, which is a small lane, road, enough to stop the traffic on Fulton Bluff, and we'll never hit those points. So I can tell you there's never gonna be a 3-way stop.
Are there plans to add speed limit signs and additional stop signs throughout Easton Park?
All right, so. Flat top, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna tell you what I told you before, this is a repeat question. I'm gonna read most of this one. Make sure I get it right. So the presence of speed limit signs or the lack of speed limit signs are all based on code as interpreted by Travis County. So whenever Brookfield and the engineers of Brookfield Way have the ability to interpret the law and the code, we will always push for slower speeds. We will put up as many speed limit signs as we are allowed. So you have that promise from Brookfield that we are trying to control speeds, and we are trying to put up. I just had the conversation an hour ago. We're trying to put up stop signs where you need stop signs. And even if Travis County says you don't really need a stop sign here, trust me, we are pushing for stop signs. It's we think that people stopping at intersections is safe to do. So I mean, on this front, we're actively trying to put up speed limit signs. We are allowed to. But whenever you put up a sign, you take the liability. So this is not one that we can kind of just skirt the rules, just go ahead and stick up signs because if somebody were to be in a wreck and they can point to a sign that's up there illegally and put everybody in a whole mess of stuff. So we're following the code, our engineers follow the code. Like I said, we try to interpret things that slow stuff down, make people aware and make things as safe as possible. And we win most of the battles, but we are bound by the code that's used by Travis County. With that said, I know that's the question we've seen a bunch about, especially around the school. We have a lot of data now, hundreds of pages of it that we are sifting through right now and trying to make the case to Travis County to do as much as we can in and around the school. Things are really slow around here. And so those conversations are going, and we got to make sure that Tail Valley is in lockstep with us. So we have meetings set with them to walk through exactly what it is that we're lining out and to make the case to Travis County to make sure that we're getting the best environment we can for everyone. So I know that's not a great answer of this will happen tomorrow, but it is something that Brookfield is committed to because we want to be safe on the streets, especially around the school.
When can we expect all lanes to be open on William Cannon?
All right, so we got 4 lanes of asphalt on the ground right now. As you can see, 2 of them are shut down. That's because we are looking out for the safety of people doing landscaping in the median on the sides. We are only legally allowed to shut down roads based on the agreement we had with the county that was in court a year ago. So it's not like we can just kind of free will out there and open up parts and not parts of things and not things. We can do 2 lanes at a time and close 2 lanes at a time. That's what we stuck with. You've seen the progress right here in front of the amenity center. That's going to continue all the way down to 183. That's scheduled to happen throughout all the way through August. So until that time, we're going to have different lanes open at different times until we have the full stretch of William Cannon landscaping through the median, on the north side, on the south side and portions. Until it gets done throughout August, you're going to see a mix of lanes that are open, but it'll only be the 2. We get all the landscaping down, then we come back with the county, less the entire thing open all appointments. And there is a monument at 183. We're deliberately not showing pictures and giving a lot of updates there because we're kind of giddy about like it's a crazy awesome monument that's coming up. And I know that our market team is looking at rolling that out in a cool way, giving y'all updates, showing you things. But I'll tell you, in the coming weeks, once you start seeing it rain, setting this thing in place, this large tower, you'll start to see for yourself. So that's why we've been putting in pictures time of progress. I've seen them. Y'all haven't seen them. That's why I've seen them. You'll see it soon enough. It's going to be cool. It's going to be something I think we're all proud to come up 183, take a ride into our neighborhood. We can see that money. So by the time we have our next town hall, I don't know if we'll be revealing anything other than saying, hey, if you drive by it, think it's cool. So it'll be coming in the next couple of weeks.
Can you provide an update on Slaughter Lane expansion?
Much like the south side amenity, slaughter lane is it's a necessary thing that has to happen to keep developing. So right now, we don't need slaughter lanes, we're not building slaughter lane. When it becomes necessary for different neighborhoods that are going to be built in and around it, and we have that access, that's needed, not to mention the transportation as we put more and more houses on the ground, like Prospect Park and stuff like that, it will necessitate, tell me is that right? So everything, it's good enough. Hey, it's coming. We're planning, we're on the final stages of being able to permit it, but we're not going to build it until it makes sense to build it for Easton Park. So it's coming, it's in the nearest future, but it's not something that's going to start in the next 3 months.
Can no parking signs be installed on Colton Bluff in front of the food truck park?
So I looked at this. So there's the question of, can we install it? I'm going to have to find out if we not need to install it. So just kind of the legalities of it, because again, this is county right away. So I can't just go put up signs, but if I want to, so I need to look and see if that is. And to be honest, I haven't looked in this enough to know that we need them. I know it's a feeling that people think that we need them, but we need to just look into it a little bit further. So that's all you have tonight. It's just kind of a promise from me that we're going to look into it and see if we can quantify the problem, see what it is, see if signs are the best way to solve it, and then see also if I'm allowed to, because I don't own the right of way, and I also don't own that food truck park. So we're just gonna have to see what we're legally allowed to do. But we'll at least look at it.
And I can give a little bit of clarity around this. What is happening is there are a lot of cars that are parking in the bike lane, and it's just obstructing the traffic of them being able to go down Colton Bluff. What is the traffic plan for the new Knob Hill entrance, and why is there not a left turn?
Right, so. Obviously, it's all traffic. We have to fight for every median break that's in the weekend. Every time we get across the median, and to justify exactly how many median breaks we got. So you see the break that's at Hilltop Terrace. We see the break at a street that's coming soon called Coda Vista, it's on the east side. And then you already have to break at Colton Bluff, and you have to break right over here at Carlo Limited in Union Park. That's it. We've limited the number of median breaks we could have on that side and their interpretation of it. And so what you see is what you get on Knob Hill, that entrance, it's a right in, right out, just on that one lane of traffic. I know it's not ideal for people that are right there, that mount it. I would say that everybody's lived with it for the last 3 or 4 years, so I'm sure everybody's got that in their travel plans already, but it's just what you see today. And that entrance being open, that is the one say there's no median break now.
Yeah, there's also no room for left turn. Cross another 2 lanes of traffic. It's good when you do second turn when there's lighting. I mean, if it's 200 yards away, I think, so, having so many breaks and entrances, I can see what the traffic's down, so. We're not gonna allow them to turn.
Right. I know the apartment complex, the reason it is open, they fought really hard to get media breaks so that people that can come out there and think about it. Head west, and it's just wasn't going to happen.
Will there be trails connecting Skyline Park to
I have
Highland
a
Park?
quick question about road. Okay. Dark sky. There's no lights over here on, I just moved here in the last few months. There's no lights over here. The Centennial Discovery had these big towering lights. That's not dark sky. I mean, why does this have no lights over here and there's lights, street lights over there?
So, that is dark skies. It has to do with the amount of light that's showing up versus the amount of light that's showing up. So, everything we have Easton is dark skies fine. However, over here, it's mixed bag. We're actually looking at a view. I know there's a question later of like, hey, there was a light taken down. That's something that Blue Bonnet took down on a say in the last month, that I haven't got a straight answer about why it came down and went back up.
But is that a traffic counter requirement? What are the lights? Who's putting the lights in?
Blue Bonnet,
Blue Bonnet, I talked to Blue Bonnet, they said they don't have a problem turning it off. That's a problem with the developer.
so, I mean, we can get you a better answer on that. A lot of it is Travis County code of how we put it in. and there's delicate balance of light pollution, and, for every 2 residents that say they wish they had more lights, get 2 residents that say, I can't believe you put that light up next to my house. So there's a little bit of that, of us balancing that. So what we're doing right now is we're putting lights that are there by code that ensure the public safety as written by all codes we follow. And whether or not we can put more and more lights, I think that that's a kind of rabbit hole we can go down. We can put a lot more lights out there,
No, we don't want to.
and we can get a lot less lights.
But the school doesn't have any lights. Okay. There's no lights for an elementary school, but there's lights for residents. The logic, and there's no lights over the skylights, so there's no logic for that. And I mean, why would one neighborhood have it and one neighborhood not? If it's code. And could we just turn them off? Or select, Bluebonnet said they would turn it off. So who do I talk to at Brookfield to say, turn my light off? I get all my neighbors to say, just turn that. Because they can do it. They say they can easily do it. I talked to public affairs.
We might will say something.
So let's get the address and the intersection, and we can give you a more thoughtful answer when we know the exact address. And so-
Okay.
Well, but-
Right.
That's a fair question, and let's see what the guy answered the calls and find out.
Yeah, that, or you can answer it, it's just.
No, I'm not saying you have to answer.
Well, other people say kind of different things, depending on what we're saying. So,
What thing are you, what?
I'm in Union Village, right just past the elementary school.
right.
And it's the one facing, the other one's facing away. Well, now you got the building, there's new ones coming in, but they were facing away. There's one light that faces towards the house.
Will there be trails connecting Skyline Park to Pilot Park?
Yes. There it comes. Those trails have to cross Cottonmouth Creek. So there's an environmental element of this to make sure that we are treating Cottonmouth Creek the way Cottonmouth Creek should be treated. So we are going through a permitting process right now of just making sure that Cottonmouth Creek is treated properly, and that native, flatland, prairie, subculture, whatever you call this thing, is properly done. And once we get all of that done, then we're gonna put y'all trails across it. So yes, they're coming. I don't have a great timeline for you because we're gonna work on the planning aspect. We are enhancing that area with native species to the satisfaction of the governing bodies. As soon as we get that done, we're gonna be allowed to actually put those trails across there. So one of them we'll be able to do sooner because it crosses more at the level of where Pilot Park has already been created. And then the main connection is actually coming farther south on a piece of Pilot Park that hasn't been built yet. So I'm not gonna make that connection until I actually build that part of the neighborhood to connect to. So we're looking at 2 crossings. They might come at the same time. One might proceed the other. I will give you all the timeline as soon as we have it in. But right now, we're tackling the environmental side of it before we can do the concrete side.
With the completion of the westbound bridge on William Keenan, what is the plan and approximate timeline for a pedestrian trail between Bryant Park, Rock Hill neighborhoods and the Union?
I think this better with Brad than that. No, so I said at the beginning, I said, we're gonna own stuff when it does. Fine, to sit here and counter, this is on me. There was a question about who we do this work, what the county would let us do, and contracts and this, that, and the other. I did the last town hall, I said, it'll happen in the next 60 to 90 days. I believed it at the time. I'm confident now. 60 to 90 days from today, we're gonna have, like, in all honesty, I just on the phone on the way over here with the guy that's finalizing the contract, the people that are gonna do it. And it's a quick enough job, it'll be a 30-day job to do it. A little bit more detailed than you would think, it's more than just a sidewalk, because it actually goes under the bridge, there's things holding up things, there's stuff that, big rocks that have to be moved. It's more involved than just the sidewalk, but there's an issue with who could do it legally and what things, so the people who could do it legally, we're going at about 3 to 4 times the cost of what it should be to build a sidewalk, and we thought that was gotta be responsible to just do that, so it's a little bit of time, it's coming. By next town hall, I'll show you pictures of the law. Yep. Take the thing.
Are there any,
Yeah. Hold it.
are there any plans to install water stations along the trails?
Yeah.
You have a question? Yes.
Yeah, I have one follow-up on the trails. Like considering summer in Texas, like the weather is right now, you know, nighttime or the time where there's no sun is the only time we can really enjoy the trails. I was wondering if you have any plans to install any additional lighting? I mean, obviously taking into account the dark sky initiative, but at least making it walkable during the evening times or morning times.
Right now, just, plans. Well, it's kind of a line flip, to be honest, it's able to bring that infrastructure out into an area that we originally made.
Is it something we as residents can potentially have influence to push for it? I feel like a lot of people would be interested, like doing jogs in the morning or maybe walks later in the evening, especially during winter.
I have a suggestion, headlamp.
I wouldn't get say that, but I run every morning there and I just work right what that concrete feels like, so I just run along Skyline.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I do too.
Or something, but sometimes I run with my phone now, I mean, it's.
Yeah.
We'll look right now, it's not, but I mean. We'll look.
It'd be pretty cost prohibitive. There's trade-offs. We've got to decide where there's bang for the buck. We talk about Lazy River. I'm not comparing these two things, but we all think of Lazy River and Flat Trails would be great. At some point, there's a decision between which of those two things, it's the biggest bang for our buck. The cost of putting lights along those trails is really expensive for the benefit that it provides compared to maintenance on top of that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was curious if this is something you guys, have in plans or,
It's really expensive to run, but, and then to your point, maintenance, I've lived in a community that had those lights that become a target for high school kids to just destroy the face and, so, and those light fixtures seem like they're expensive, but they're, a few $1,000s each.
Yeah, the most expensive aspect.
Yeah, so it's just really cost really to make that happen. It's kind of a nuisance at the point.
Thank you.
What are the landscaping plans for the perimeter of Union Park West?
So not doing this. We are in the process of landscaping the southern edge. That's part of landscaping development academy as we speak. The eastern edge of it, same thing along Union Park, touching up those areas around there. The northern edge is the ITO school parcel, which Brad alluded to earlier, that will be more or less defined by the eventual owner of that spot. And then on the western side is along McKinney Falls. We are pursuing a permit to enhance the landscaping that's actually in the medians along McKinney Falls. And it'll be a touch to that small area between the sidewalk and the fences there along Union Park West. There's going to be some enhancement for that. So that's coming. That's a project that we hope to do before the end of the year. We're actually at the very end of that permitting process. So that's a landscaping project that'll happen soon. And what will it look like? It'll be the same kind of planning out that you see throughout the community.
Question about that. The irrigation system, is that going to be tapped into by units into the next, or you know, that will be part of the community crossing, right? That is is essentially going on to a block or doing the will that be items for the request? Or is it going to be items to
What did you really ask? Why should you care? Yeah, it's not going to be an add-on to fees and allocated water.
Well, I mean, part of that, yes, but I'm just curious if that's going to be uniform West and maintained in the future.
Let me fine. That should not be.
So no matter who it's tapped into, if it's tapped into Union Park West or the master's paying. So there would be a needs to make agreement between the master and Union Park West. For making all that would all be done, just like the landscape maintenance would be done. Yeah, the master would never push any of that cost onto it.
If there's a chance to tap in there for you to say, yeah.
I have one quick follow-up on Union Park West. Stephanie knows I've asked this question a lot of times about the green areas in the Union Park West within Union Park West. I know that we have information. I know you may have missed kind of the analysis at the beginning. we won't be answering anything within Union Park West. We work with the developers. We're not the builders. We have no control of what was within, built within, other than, yes, you can, the design of the house is fine, paint color is fine. And that was done, prior to these folks joining. But yeah, anything within Union Park West should be brought to the Union Park West. This is just about a master
So Brookfield really has nothing that intersects with whatever happens inside the Union Park West being the maritime. That means something.
Yeah, so if there's an issue within Union Park West, that board should address it with Mary Beach, just as a developer, we would.
The only conflict link is the management company. So Cohere oversees the master association, and also Cohere, I think a lot of the residents' desire was invited in to help manage Union Park West.
Yeah.
But the four of us sitting up here, we're basically land sellers, and the four of us weren't here when it's happening. You were blaming sold that tract to marriage homes. We, just like Matt said, improve the types of houses, improve the architecture, and Meritage is responsible for the development and stuff that helps.
Just get with me right after and we can address that.
Having Cohere as the property manager or the community manager is clear. You got continuity between all different sides.
So we've got just a few minutes here, so I'm gonna run through these last miscellaneous questions. Pretty quick here. What product is planned to be developed between Hillcock and Coda Vista? There'll be a mix of different products, your townhomes, triplexes, tripods. And I have no idea what a quadplex is.
That's 5.
Oh, there you go. 5 two of the parcels are being developed by other partners. Parts of us as one building. What is planned to be developed next to Ariza? Nothing's been decided yet on what will be next to that. Can you share whether there are different types of fences throughout the community? So we have the wood fences, which are in the older parts of the community. That was kind of the original intent design. And then as you focus on Atlantic Union, there's different ideas on how the community should look. The iron fences look really good when it looks nice and open and it doesn't look as compact. But on top of that, we also have to follow whatever city code states, and city code does not allow any wood on the exterior of the home within lighting. Which is why moving forward, it will be all minor.
Just pretty much, the code has changed quite a bit. So if you look at what happened more south of Grand Canyon and the Hottville. So right. And if you look what happened there in 2018 versus what we're doing today in 2023, the difference is purely based on the city's code changing, and it's all driven off of the fire and safety, and they're worried about combustible materials and fire hazards.
And you can literally see it as you walk in the step park, where some have privacy fences, and then maybe 5 houses down, you see wrought iron fences as the gates or the fronts. And then as you go into Kiki, then it's open. So that's the evolution of that code. So moving forward, as long as the code doesn't change again, so iron somehow catches fire miraculously, and gotta be something else. But that's what you'll see going forward. So the best way to privacy, et cetera, is to landscape planting inside, that'll help with that, what's privacy.
About that, because the only option they allow is to put like, for small dogs to get through, like another, you have to have that on expensive for bars, but that I've consulted with them, they said that only brings it up to a point, and my dogs can still wiggle through, and they can go under. And so I don't know if you're all plugged into the community rooms, but there's lots of dog feeds, and there's huge rattlesnakes that are just going around. And it's really worried that the only option we're given won't do anything to protect our pets and.
We're addressing the ACC committee. So the ACC committee is made up of residents. If you look at our documents, the ACC committee is made up of residents. And at the end of the day, I'm the architectural reviewer. So when you say in there it says reviewer, then tell ACC, right, that don't hurt you. So that's part of my job. And I've been working with them on that issue. because I know we had a few residents come in and I had one black chicken wire that you couldn't tell. I drove by, couldn't even tell it was there. It took these guys telling me it was there. And we said, no, you want to see it. And then for them to go and point it out, that I realized, okay, I see it there. So that's one of the options we're looking at, to possibly allow some apps so that the dogs can't get out. We know it's an issue. You know, the best version of those pickets are already built into the fence, but it's very expensive, and I think they're about 24 inches tall, which would go against the current design guidelines. So there's some issues that we need to look at with that for sure. Thank you for reminding me, because I just asked Stephanie, I go, I thought we already dealt with this. She told me no. So we do be going about things. The streetlights at Wilcox and Colton Blood was recently removed. AJ already talked about this, trying to figure out what's going on. Will streetlights be installed on Lynn Cannon, like what's currently installed on the other side of Kenny Falls? There will be lights in the medians of Lynn Cannon. They're just not installed yet.
That's what that question.
That's what the question was. You were going to ask that question. If you're here or if you're online, feel free to resubmit. We're actually going to wrap up here. I don't know if there were any questions online, but no. Okay.
Yeah. Any chance we're gonna get a grocery store?
Oh man, we want a grocery store. We like. It's one of those things.
We need to move into the. I haven't seen one of these meetings where they chuckle because that question comes up every one of these. So HEP owns the northwest corner of Green Canyon and Kenmore. That's when our grocery store will be here. We have no ability to influence, we even have any opportunity to ask the question from HEP if we're going to. They're on their own timeline and their own decision, but they own parts of it. So that is a pretty good indication that we think they're going to build a store there. Beyond that, we have no idea at this point. But we're anxious on this.
The building on that third.
The southwest
Yeah,
one.
where they're clearing. Those are different.
There's, I mean, it's actually the same broker that's building the CD and stuff, and,
This commercial front.
I know there's multi-family, and I can't remember the exact thing they said, I think there's like a child registry place, and that's the only concept I have. Right.
One more quick one on Dr. Skies, other than downhill. Do we have to keep, having three lights shining straight up in the sky? Three lights.
Is that work? Is that where?
No, in all of our house front, it's required in the initial, it was required that we maintain and keep our lights on all night long, shining up in the sky.
Yeah, there's a lot of changes we need to make to the ACC from back then. I'm not gonna lie, because I was here, so I know this. We've made some changes in our new guidelines for the new section. So what I need to do and work with the association to is look at the current guidelines for Scotland Park and KP and the new sections, and pull out some of those things that make sense and move them over to Valleyville and Brian. I will say until we do that, and last that the team does miss some violations for that. Great job. I think everybody drives around at night. Yeah, but we'll start looking at design guidelines and start making changes based on what makes sense for one part of the.
You drive around it, I see a lot of homes that are lit up with outdoor lighting. So we had our first Christmas here last year, and beforehand, people said, "We can put your lights up," they have to come down. Well, when you drive around that night, people have all the way around the perimeter of their house are lit up with either multicolored lights or solid blue or all clear lights. So I would like to put my lights up now before it gets cold. Not do it when it's cold, but I like the way those lights look. So am I allowed to go ahead and light my house up?
No, and neither are they. So we'll have to have Stephanie spend the night here.
It looks nice. It looks nice. I like it. I like that. But
Yeah,
I
we
like
have
to have it
a
all
lot of
year
street
round.
lights in the backyard and around the house. No, not very.
I think she's referring to.
Yeah, the HPC approves the.
Yeah, the permanent lights are okay, but they're not okay to be on. The caveat is they need to be used just like any other holiday lights. That's what they're holiday lights, not summer and on, you know.
So,
Christmas in July.
Yeah. It's a pretty big holiday.
right, and there's like, there's Memorial Day.
Yeah, decoration, and things like that.
There's constant the holiday,
Yeah,
hardly like to be constant.
so we'll just find holiday schedule. So ACC committee. Yeah,
And
Well, I like I like the look. But when we looked it up and tried to find if we can go ahead and hire someone to light our house up, we couldn't find anything except they only have one holiday time.
yeah,
So I was just wondering,
Touch base with me, afterwards or tomorrow. You can shoot me an email. I'll help you through that whole entire process of what will be allowed and when it would be allowed and everything. I can definitely help with
just for
that.
clarity, it's wondering, so.
Sure.
People have, we also did have approval from the ACC used on as architectural lighting. We gave a scheme that was every bit light and super dim.
Yeah.
And it coordinates with our, so there is ongoing as well. You kind of said that there wasn't. Yeah, at least in our approval, there is. It's just subdued and architectural, not string lights, right?
All right, last question. Thank you. I have a follow-up to our last conversation. You mentioned that as part of the grade expansion, there are plans to have a second school within some part foreseeable future, whatever, 5-10 years from now. Do you know if there's going to be a second elementary or it's going to be middle school?
it'll really be up to the school district.
Okay.
But I mean, I've spoken to somebody with the school district who, not with the school district, apologies, he works with the nonprofit that the school district has started. And they're looking for a high school site, they're looking for currently immediate needs for a high school site, so what that is, I think it depends on the size of the land that we're working with them on. That will obviously play a big part of that school meeting.
Thank you, for coming. Sorry, it's a little late and sorry that once again it is storming.
thank you.
Have a good night.
I know you're.